Everyone in Black Hollow, Tennessee, knows you don't go past the last mailbox on County Road 13 after dark. They'll tell you that with the same flat certainty they use for "don't swim in the quarry" or "don't vote Democrat in November." Most folks won't even say the house's name out loud. They just call it "the place at the end" or "that old Mayfield house," and then change the subject real quick, like someone might overhear. I grew up hearing the stories. My grandpa swore that in 1963, he saw lights moving room to room with no bulbs in the sockets. My Aunt Janine claimed her dog refused to cross the cattle guard at the driveway, just planted his feet and howled until she turned the truck around. Kids dared each other to ride their bikes to the rusted mailbox and touch it for 5 whole seconds. Nobody ever made it to 10. I never believed any of it. Not really. I figured it was just another small-town ghost story, the kind every nowhere place keeps in its back pocket to feel special. Then my mom died, and everything changed. It was August 2024 when the cancer finally took her. 49 years old. I came home from Nashville for the funeral, planning to stay a week, tie up loose ends, sell the trailer, and get back to my apartment and my job writing clickbait for a website nobody admits to reading. Instead, I found a manila envelope in Mom's nightstand with my name on it in her shaky last month handwriting. Inside was a deed and a key. The deed was for 1.7 acres and whatever stood on it at the dead end of County Road 13. The key was old iron, heavy, the kind that looks like it belongs in a museum. There was a note too, 3 lines. "I'm sorry I never told you. It's yours now. Fix what I couldn't. Forgive me, Danny." Mom had never once mentioned owning that house. Not once. I asked my Uncle Ray about it at the repast. He got real quiet, stared into his sweet tea like it might talk back, and finally said, "Your mama bought it off the books 20 years ago. Paid cash to some lawyer out of Tullahoma. Told me if she ever died, I wasn't to fight you getting it. Said the house picked its people." He laughed, but it came out wrong. Crazy as a soup sandwich, your mama, toward the end. That night I drove out there. I told myself it was just to see what the hell she'd bought with her bingo money. Maybe flip it for a few grand. County Road 13 is 15 miles of chipped asphalt that turns to gravel after the Baptist church. The last mile is nothing but washboard ruts and pine trees leaning over like they're trying to hide the road. My Tacoma bounced and rattled, headlights cutting tunnels through the dark. Then the trees quit, and the house was just there. 2 stories, steep roof, wide porch sagging in the middle like a tired horse. White paint gone gray and peeling in strips the moonlight. Every window dark except one upstairs on the left. Soft, steady glow, like someone left a lamp on for me. I killed the engine. Crickets screamed. Somewhere a bullfrog grumbled. I sat there a full minute, telling myself the light was reflection or squatters or my imagination. Then I grabbed the key in my pocket and got out. The front steps creaked but held. The key slid into the lock smooth as if it had been oiled yesterday. Door swung inward on silent hinges. Inside smelled like cedar and old paper and something else. Copper and ozone, like right before lightning. Moonlight spilled through the tall windows, laid silver bars across a foyer big enough to park my truck in, swept wood floors. A staircase that curved up into shadow. To my left, parlor with furniture under white sheets. To my right, dining room with a chandelier still hanging, crystals catching the little light and tossing it around like secrets. And straight ahead, a single door under the stairs that definitely hadn't been there from the outside. I heard it then, soft, deliberate footsteps overhead. Once, twice, then nothing. I told myself it was the house settling. Old places do that. I flicked the ancient switch by the door. Nothing. Power was off, of course. I pulled my phone, turned on the flashlight, and started exploring, because backing out now felt like losing a bet with a dead woman. The kitchen was huge. Commercial stove from the 50s. Farmhouse sink deep enough to bathe a Labrador. Someone had left a single plate on the counter, white with little blue flowers. A half-eaten slice of pecan pie going hard. Fork beside it like the eater just stepped away for a second. Upstairs was 12 rooms. 12. Who needs 12 rooms? Most were empty except for dust and mouse turds. One had a child's iron bed frame and a rocking horse whose painted smile had faded to nightmare. The glowing room turned out to be a small library. Floor-to-ceiling shelves, hundreds of books, and a green banker's lamp burning away on a roll-top desk. Bulb was warm when I touched it. No cord. No battery either. Just glowing like it had a mind of its own. On the desk was a leather journal, open. The handwriting was my mother's, older, neater, from before the chemo shakes. Day 1247, he walked again tonight. Same path. Bedroom to nursery to attic. I followed as far as the stairs. I'm not brave like you would have been. Danny. I'm only stubborn. I slammed the journal shut. My hands shook so bad I almost dropped the phone. That's when the temperature plummeted. Breath fogged. The lamp flickered once and went dark. Something exhaled behind me. I spun. Nothing. Just books and moonlight. I got the hell out of that room, took the stairs 2 at a time, and didn't stop until I was back in the foyer with the front door at my back. I stood there panting, telling myself I was being an idiot, when the door under the stairs opened by itself. Slow. No creak. Just wide enough for a person. A little boy stood there in old-fashioned pajamas, barefoot, hair white blonde and messy. Couldn't have been more than 7. He looked up at me with eyes too old for his face and said, clear as day, "She's waiting upstairs." Then he turned and walked into the dark under the stairs like it was a hallway instead of a broom closet. I don't know how long I stood frozen. Long enough for the crickets to start up again outside. Long enough to realize I was crying and didn't know why. Eventually, I followed him. The door opened onto a staircase going down, stone walls, lit by candles in rusted sconces that definitely hadn't been there 5 minutes ago. The boy was already halfway down, small, bare feet, silent on the steps. I followed because Mom's note said, fix what I couldn't, and because some part of me had always been reckless when dared. The basement was impossible. The house didn't have a basement from the outside. The foundation was crawl space at best. And yet here it was, vaulted brick ceiling, long room like a chapel, a circle of salt in the middle of the floor, and inside the circle, a woman sitting on a wooden chair. She looked up when I stepped off the last stair. Late 20s, dark hair, wearing a simple blue dress like from an old photograph. Pretty, in the way that makes your chest hurt. Her eyes were solid black, no whites at all. "You're Daniel," she said, voice soft, Tennessee accent thicker than mine. "You favor your daddy, ... I couldn't speak. The boy had vanished. "I'm sorry about your mama," she went on. "Cancer's a hard road. She sat right where you're standing and cried for an hour the first night. Then she got mad. I like people who get mad." "Who are you?" I managed. "Name's Ruth Mayfield. This was my house before it was yours. 1893 to 1922, give or take. Then I stopped counting years the regular way." She smiled, and it wasn't comforting. "Your mama promised me you'd come." "Promised you what?" "That you'd finish it." She gestured, and the salt circle flared white, pushing me back a step. "There's a man trapped here, has been since 1922. He's angry, been feeding on the living ever since. Your granddaddy fed him in 63. Your Aunt Janine's dog fed him in 89. Every story you ever heard, that was him tasting." My mouth was sand. "What does he want?" "Out and someone to wear." She looked at me like she was measuring for a suit. "He likes artists." musicians especially. Says their souls taste like. I laughed. Sharp, ugly sound. Lady, I write listicles about celebrity side boob. I'm not. You played guitar, she cut in. Every night on the back porch of that trailer, till your fingers bled. Wrote songs nobody ever heard. Your mama sent me every one of them on those little cassette tapes before streaming was a thing. I know what you are, Daniel. The candles guttered. Somewhere above us, floorboards groaned like something heavy was pacing. Ruth stood. The blue dress didn't move like cloth. It rippled like water. He's coming. I can't hold him much longer. Your mama bought me 20 years with her promise. Time's up. What do I have to do? Same thing she couldn't. Ruth stepped out of the circle. The salt didn't stop her and took my hands. Hers were freezing. You have to let him in long enough to learn his name. Then you speak it 3 times and tell him to go. But Daniel, her black eyes bored into mine. Once he's inside you, he'll know every dark thing you ever done, every cowardice, every lie, and he'll use them. Most folks can't stand the weight. They break, and when they break, he keeps the body. Upstairs, a door slammed. Then another. Footsteps, deliberate, coming down the main staircase. Ruth squeezed my hands. Decide fast. I thought of Mom in that hospital bed, skin gray, eyes bright with pain and something else. Regret, maybe. I thought of the key in my pocket and the deed with my name on it. I thought of every song I never finished because I was scared they'd suck. I nodded. Ruth smiled for real that time. Good boy. She kissed my forehead, ice-cold lips, and stepped back into her circle. The candles went out all at once. Darkness swallowed everything. Then pain, like teeth in my soul, a pressure behind my eyes, a voice that wasn't mine whispering every failure, every time I walked away, every person I let down. It wrapped around my heart and squeezed. I staggered, fell to my knees in the dark. The voice laughed, deep and warm and awful. Found you. Images flooded me. Ruth in 1922, young and laughing, marrying a traveling preacher with charming smile and hands that left bruises. The preacher bringing home a book bound in something that might have been human skin. Nights of chanting in this basement, while Ruth begged him to stop. The night he cut her throat, over that circle, and called something up that wore his face afterward. A century of the thing walking the house, wearing stolen skins, waiting for the bloodline to come back. My bloodline. Ruth had been the sacrifice that bound it. But blood calls to blood. The Mayfields owned the land once. Mom's maiden name had been Mayfield before she married Dad. She'd hidden it, changed it, tried to outrun it. But the house remembers. The thing inside me crooned, "Play for me, Danny. Play, and I'll let you keep the hands." I saw myself on stage, in front of thousands, fingers flying, crowds screaming my name. Saw money and women, and every song I ever dreamed writing finished in a night. All I had to do was let go. My fingers twitched toward the guitar that wasn't there. Then I heard Mom's voice, small and fierce, from years ago when I was 8 and crying because some kids smashed my cheap Yamaha. "Don't you dare quit, Daniel Joseph. Music's the only thing can't nobody take unless you hand it over." I reached into the dark and found the name. Old, older than the hills, older than the Cherokee who avoided this valley, older than the dirt itself. It tasted like rust and grief. I screamed it into the dark. Once, the pressure stuttered. Twice, it fought back, claws in my mind, showing me Mom dying alone while I was at some bar in East Nashville, chasing a girl who didn't matter. Third time, I put every ounce of ugly truth into it. Every regret, every shard of love I never said out loud. The thing shrieked like a train wreck and tore out of me, leaving me hollowed out quiet. When the candles relit, Ruth was on her knees in the circle, human eyes, brown and tired. She was fading, dress turning to smoke at the edges. "You did it," she whispered. "He's gone, for good." "What happens to you?" She smiled, soft. "I get to go too. Been waiting a long time." The circle flared once, bright as the sun, then collapsed into nothing but salt and ash. I woke up on the foyer floor at dawn, front door open, birds going nuts outside. The house felt empty. Not haunted empty, regular empty, like a house where nobody's lived in 20 years. I found Mom's journal in the library later that morning. She'd bought the place after her own mother, my grandmother I never met, died and left her the same envelope. Grandma couldn't do it. Mom almost did, but got sick first. She wrote that she prayed I'd be stronger. I stayed, fixed the porch, got the power turned on. There was basement after all, normal concrete walls, water heater, fuse box, no occult symbols anywhere. I painted the outside a soft green Mom always liked. Turned the big parlor into a recording studio. The acoustics are insane. Sometimes late at night I still hear footsteps overhead. But when I go look, it's just the boy in pajamas, sitting on the top step, swinging his legs. He never speaks anymore, just smiles and waves, then vanishes. I wave back. The house at the end of County Road 13 isn't haunted now. It's home. And every song I write here, every single one, has Ruth's name hidden in the lyrics if you know where to listen. Mom was right. Some things can't nobody take unless you hand them over. I'm not handing anything else away.